Welcome to episode 20 of Overtime with Jared P. and Johnny O. Very exciting. We have NFL and college football playoff predictions. And Johnny O, this has been an incredible season thus far, and the matchups are incredible. Why don't you guide us through these matchups and what you think?
All right. I mean, it's just been I mean, this coming weekend, starting Thursday, is like a football extravaganza, man. I
It
mean,
really is.
unbelievable. Now, I will mention first, how about how powerful the NFL is that they got the playoff game Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay. There is a Monday night game. I guess Minnesota's playing that one,
Yeah.
where the college playoffs are playing on a Thursday and Friday night. I mean,
Yeah.
almost like, sorry guys, this is our schedule. You'll have to schedule around it. Now, as a fan, I'm excited about a Thursday night college game and a Friday night college games leading into the NFL. So
Absolutely.
hopefully the college they don't feel slighted on that, but I think they have been a little slighted on it. So we'll see. But well, let's talk about the NFL playoffs, and why don't we do each game? We'll start off in the AFC. I'll give my opinion and my pick, and then you tell me your opinion and pick on that same game. And
Perfect.
okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, in the AFC, the first game, excuse me, the Texans and the Chargers. Um, CJ Stroud isn't really playing like he did last year, so I'm a little concerned with that. The Texans aren't really playing really good football. The Chargers are. And I think Jim Harbaugh will coach Jim Harbaugh type of game, and it's going to be run and then run. Add a little Justin Herbert, who is
Yep.
unbelievable, and then their defense. There's no chance that the Texans win that game. I'm going all Chargers on that game.
Yeah, that's to me probably the easiest pick. The Texans, I saw them play the other night. Who did they play? And they looked awful on
Yeah.
offense and defense, and they weren't playing a great team. Yeah, this one is easy. And I said at the beginning of the year, I said, watch, the Chargers make the playoffs. Jim Harbaugh is a winner. Chargers all the way.
He sure is. All right, no, that's a good pick. I think that's an easy pick, actually. Next game. Now, this one's interesting. The Ravens and the Steelers. Okay, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna come right out. The Steelers are done. So I mean, they have limped into the playoffs. First of all, um, Russell Wilson, I don't know if you watched the game. He looked pathetic behind center. He couldn't do anything. I know he had a lot of pressure on him, but I thought he was holding the ball way too long.
Yeah.
He's done. He's playing horrible. Derrick Henry will own the ground game, and Lamar Jackson will finally get like a big playoff win and get over that Pittsburgh. I mean, they've had trouble with Pittsburgh and Kansas City and all that, but they need to win this game, and I think they're going to win it big. I'm looking at 38-10 or 35-14 or something like that. It's not even going to be close. And the worst offense in the 14 teams. There's 14 teams in the playoffs. Are the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay.
Yeah.
They are number 14. They average in their last 4 games, they have not scored more than 17 points in any of those games.
Yeah.
So it's not even close. The
And I
Ravens all
don't
the way.
I don't even think it's on Russell Wilson. I just think, this team, well, they did play people are like, oh, they lost, 3 or 4 in a row, or 4 in a row, 5 in a row. But they also play like Kansas City. They played Baltimore, I think, twice. I mean, they've had a rough schedule, but I hate to agree with everything. This one's going to be close. I mean, this one's not going to be close.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, we've said it many times. To me, this is his first year that he's, to me, statistically the runaway MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen he didn't do anything the last 3 games. He had 2 bad games to end the season and didn't play, in the final game. So that's maybe beside the point. But I think this is the Ravens' year. If they're going to win it, it's this year.
I agree.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying they are, but they look better. They've got stronger as the year has gone on, and their defense has improved dramatically towards the end of the year. That was their weakness.
Yeah, you were right. I mean, at the first 8 games, 8, 9 games, we were talking about that. You especially just saying, I don't know if their defense is going to hang in there, but the second half of the season, they have looked like the Baltimore Ravens.
And what's wild too, real quick about the NFL, I've always heard it's basically 4 seasons in one because people they freak out the first 4 games, or they say, "Oh, we're going to win it the first 4 games and the next
Yeah,
4 games." But like the maybe the second or third or fourth of the season, the Steelers look like the team to beat.
I
Russell
know.
Wilson had 2 or 3 games over 300 yards, some game over 400 yards, and they were blowing out teams. Their defense looked great, and then they just totally fell apart.
They really did. I was kind of hoping they played Cincinnati this past weekend. I watched that game. I was thinking, put Justin Fields in there, man. They needed some sort of,
Yeah.
and they never put him in there. It was very surprising. All right, on to the next game. Good game here, actually. Your Buffalo Bills
Ah,
against the Broncos, the surprising Broncos, with rookie Bo Nix leading them to the playoffs. That's big. I think it's going to be a close game. First 3 quarters, I think Denver's going to stick with them, but I think Buffalo's going to be really kind of in control of that game. And then Denver's just going to run out of gas in that fourth quarter, and Josh Allen's going to take over. I think Buffalo's got way too much. I kudos the rookie to the rookie Bo Nix though, because he has done a hell of a job. But I don't think they are ready this year. Look out for Denver in the coming years with him, like your Washington Commanders, but not this year. Buffalo Bills, close game. I'm thinking, not a high scoring game. I'm thinking 21-14, 21-17 maybe.
yeah. For me, this is my upset pick of the week. I have the
Woo!
Broncos beating the Buffalo Bills. I do not believe in this team, and I think towards the end of the year, outside of Week 18 when they didn't play their players, their last 2 games they looked pathetic. As far as their offense looked bad. And so that's really concerning for me. And it's obviously the strength of their defense. Now, the difference is here they have a run attack that's not just Josh Allen, which is great. They have kind of a band of, for the most part, I think a casual NFL fan of a no-name receivers, but they've done very well this year.
Yep.
I don't trust the Buffalo Bills. I haven't all season. I have nothing against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. I would love to see them win a Super Bowl. If my team's not going to win it, they've never won it. They've been close, at least those 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it happening this year. And I think they're going to have an early exit. And I think it's going to be the Broncos are playing. They've been basically playing playoff games the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Sure.
And although the Chiefs game was a garbage game because the Chiefs didn't play anybody, I think even if you beat up a second and third stringers, you kind of give you a little confidence.
No, absolutely,
Yeah.
and and losing 38-0 when all those guys aren't playing, that sticks too. And I don't think it's going to make a big difference when Kansas City, but 38-0, man. I mean,
Yeah.
who was playing? It was quite interesting. So I agree with you on the Broncos going into that game confident, but good pick for you. You're picking the Broncos. I'm going to stick with the Bills.
Okay.
All right, now we're going to switch over to the powerful NFC. Let's talk about the Rams and the Vikings. Okay. I'm going to get a little bold on this one.
Uh-oh. Johnny O getting bold.
I'm going Rams, man. Their offense, Vikings are still, I think they're still going to be in shock by what the Lions did to them this, couple days ago. I'm a little bit in shock. I mean, the Lions looked like the best defense in the NFL. I mean, Sam Darnold couldn't do anything. High scoring game, but I think Stafford outplays Sam Darnold and they advance. And I love saying this name, man. The wide receiver for the Rams, I think Puka Nacua.
Great name.
A beast, man. He is a beast. He will have a huge playoff game. And they got a running game. I wasn't sure. I kind of looked it up a little bit, what kind of running game they got. This Kieran Williams,
Yeah.
1,300 yards, 14 touchdowns. They're strong. And Look out for the Rams. I'm picking the Rams over the Vikings, and I hate that because the Vikings that have had such a great season, they're going to, they're a number 5 seed at 14-3.
I know.
Um, but the Rams take that victory, and it is in LA, so that's
Well,
big.
I'm going to bring a guest picker in here real quick. My son Eli, he won. Oh, he's doing his hair. He won our fantasy football league. He's been in the league for 3 years. He's only 13. He's only been in 3 years. He's won the championship all 3 years, and he's playing against all adults who he's dominated. I mean, he dominates every year. So Eli, what's
Hey,
your
Eli.
Hey,
Johnny O?
Well,
Have you met him before?
welcome to the show, my friend.
what's up?
You're, I thought you were doing your hair, or is that how you wear your hair? Come on.
All
Now,
right,
is that
so
what jersey? What is that? Oh, a Panther
Cam Newton.
jersey.
I got
Way
Cam
to
Newton
go.
on.
yeah, I guess his Chiefs jerseys are dirty.
Only you're born.
Yeah. Well, speak up like you do normally around the house. But who do you have?
NFC.
Well, we're just doing right now Rams and Vikings. Who do you think will
Okay.
win
So
and why? Speak up.
I think.
Look into the camera.
All right. I think that the Vikings they didn't they lost what by 20 something against the Lions.
Yeah, they were
Um,
demolished.
Sam Darnold had a breakout year. He did very good this entire season, but I think the Rams might upset in LA.
And you had a score on your phone. What do you
2017.
2017. All right. Thank
Ooh,
you, Eli.
nice. Thanks,
And
Eli.
all right, you're grounded. No, just kidding. Um, he's all like kind of shy. He's never shy, but he knows a lot about football. He knows a
I,
ton. I mean,
I
this
see
is his
that.
passion. Um, well, this is the thing about like if you just saw the score of the Vikings Lions game,
Yep.
you think there it is. That's what I've been worried about all year. Sam Darnold crap in the bed, which he did. He did 18 for 41 and 0 for 4 within like the 5 yard line.
Oof.
Bad. However, they moved the ball at will against an improved, like a Detroit team that's been great this whole year. I think that's for me. It started leading me down this path. Like they're not for real. Now, traveling to LA after having a tough loss to possibly have home field advantage, that's definitely a disadvantage for Minnesota. But I think Minnesota refocuses. Sometimes that late loss where they could not have played worse on offense. It
Right.
was Sam Darnold's worst game. I think get that out of it, okay, and refocus. Justin Jefferson was pissed the entire game because he missed them 3 or 4 times wide open. They had one where a guy was wide open by like 10 yards and he just threw it way over his head.
It just looked like, and I know he was being pressured, but I've seen better, other quarterbacks getting more pressured than him. He just seemed like he had a lot of like anxiety in him or
Yeah.
something. As soon as he took that snap, he was flustered, and that really surprised me. And he did that the whole game, man.
So I think maybe get that out. That was like a playoff game, and that to me doesn't bode well for the playoffs. But maybe he's been in the league for a while. Okay, you screwed the pooch on that one. You get that out of your head. They say he's nothing but a professional. Move forward with a super focus on the Rams, who the Rams are a Jekyll and Hyde team. One week they score 44 points, look like they can win the Super Bowl. The next week they lose to a team that's under 500. They are trending in the right direction. They're getting hot at the right time of the year, and that's usually the most dangerous teams. But I think Minnesota will escape, and then with the reseeding, we'll be able to get it looks like probably a home game after the fact, and they'll be very tough to beat. But that did scare me. It gave me pause. The Lions can't give me pause. By the way, I don't know if you watched the Golden Globes, but Nikki Glazer's like my favorite.
Oh yeah,
And you love stand up, I know that. She murdered. She was great as the
good for
host.
her.
But Dak Shepard's wife, Kristen Bell, did you
Caught
hear
it.
about
I
this?
saw that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he had his phone between his legs because he's from Detroit or that Detroit area, and he's watching the Minnesota Vikings Detroit Lions game during the Golden Globes. Anyway,
That was great.
I don't think he
That
was up for any
was
awards, but all
great.
right. So who else you got? So I got the Lions. I mean, I got the Vikings winning.
Vikings. And I hope they do. I'm not saying they're done, but I just got a feeling going to LA and the Rams, it should be interesting.
I mean, the Rams is a good pick. I mean, I think a lot of people are picking the Rams.
And like I said, the Rams have Puka Nakua. I love that name, man.
That's great.
All right, next one. I'll save yours for last. Again, Mr. Nice Guy,
You are a nice guy.
All right, let's go to the Eagles and the Packers. You know who I'm going with. Okay, I'm feeling very comfortable with the Eagles. Jalen will be back. I mean, there's all the talking heads are saying, "Oh, I don't know. He's still in protocol. We'll know tomorrow if he practices." The man's going to be playing this weekend. At least I hope they are making me a little nervous because there is a lot of chatter going on. But he will be back, strong as ever. They will win with a mix of running and passing. There's no doubt they're going to have to do that. And the Packers are kind of injury riddled right now.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love is okay. He did hurt his elbow, Sunday. He said he had some numbness, but I think he's back. But they did lose their wide receiver. Oh my gosh,
Christian Watson.
Yes, that's a big loss.
Is he out?
He's out for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Oh man, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's really bad.
So I think it'll go into the fourth quarter, pretty close. Typical Eagles football if they're running and passing. But I mean, if they're running, but most of the running is going to be in the second half, like it usually is, especially the fourth quarter. Saquon will take over in the fourth quarter. Eagles by 7, a touchdown, maybe 10 points, and it's just because they dominate really probably the last 15 to 20 minutes of the game, and that's because of the running game and their defense.
All right. So you're a big Eagles fan. We're both NFC East fans, so we don't usually pull for each other's team. I don't hate the Eagles, I just hate the Cowboys, and we escaped the victory at Washington. My only question is A.J. Brown playing?
He's playing.
You guys are going to win. If Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are playing, you're going to win. Have y'all lost this year when they both played?
They're 11-0 when those two play.
Not worried about it. If he doesn't play, I'm worried. But A.J. Brown has been the X factor the entire year, and if he's in the lineup, it gives they have these advanced analytics that some players are worth a certain amount of points, and it's usually not as much as you would think. But even Tom Brady's, they would say in the course of a game is worth an extra like 4 points. It's bizarre metrics. Yeah. I don't know what the metrics are for A.J. Brown. If he's in the lineup, the Eagles win. And so I would not want to play any of the teams in the NFC that made the playoffs this year. I think any of these teams could pull an upset, but I think the Eagles are actually going to surprise. I think it's not going to be. I think it'll be a double-digit win.
Yeah. And you got A.J. Brown on one end, and Devontae Smith is healthy too. So they got all their weapons.
And Saquon.
And Mr. Saquon, maybe the MVP. Maybe between him and Lamar, I would think.
Class act, yeah.
All right, our last game, the Buccaneers, who have really had a fantastic season with Baker Mayfield, and your Washington Commanders and that rookie sensation, Jaden Daniels. I'll let you go first on this one, man.
Well, the Buccaneers again. This is the one thing, and everyone has a problem with this. You should reward someone for winning their division, but you have a Washington team standing at not only Washington, you have a Minnesota team as well, but and even an Eagles team. But the Eagles got it. But Washington team 12-5, best seasons in 32 years, 34 years, and they're playing on the road to a team that scraped by to get 10 wins. A good season, but that's just it is what it is. And so being at home, Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, over 4,000 yards, I believe over 40 total touchdowns or 40 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
They're a team to me, again, that kind of remind me a little bit of kind of like the Rams. One week they look like they could beat anybody and they're scoring 40. And then they look terrible in a must-win game against the Saints. Yeah. They look bad for 3.5, almost into the fourth quarter, really almost 4 quarters.
And they needed that win.
They needed it. And they're
just
at home.
Yeah.
And at home.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It's in so and then Jaden Daniels. The thing about Washington is that this team has won a lot of close games, and that's relying on that all the time. And Jaden Daniels to kind of pull you out. Their defense has improved. The defense is the most improved defense in the NFL from last year, but they were one of the worst. They were like 30th last year in the NFL. So if I had to pick, I think home field advantage is going to be too much for Washington to overcome. And guess what? Little nugget for you, Johnny O.
What do you got?
The last time Washington was in the playoffs was 2020, and they lost to who? The Buccaneers. Tom Brady's Buccaneers in the wild card.
Really?
And then our last road win in the playoffs, Washington as was in 2006 against the Buccaneers. I don't
Huh.
know why they seem to
Interesting.
make Washington doesn't make the playoffs very often, but when they do, it's against the Buccaneers. Um,
Huh.
so anyway, I 3 4 point victory to a 3 or 4 points for the Bucks. I hate to say that, but I just
Oh, good for
living on
you.
living on the edge too much, and it's a lot. And we've looked bad against Dallas twice, and that both times they either had a backup or their third string quarterback, and that's doesn't. I know it's a rivalry game, but we looked bad against Chicago and pulled that
Yeah.
out. I mean, but Jane Daniels, I'm happy. I mean,
Oh, you
we're
ought to be.
not we're not a we're not a Kansas City Chiefs caliber team or even a Ravens team. We're in the playoffs every year and contending for Super Bowl. So I'm happy that we're this far along in a rebuilding year. So anyway,
Absolutely. Well, I'm going the same way you are. It's Baker Mayfield time. Home game, like you're saying, big. That I think that is huge in this game. Mike Evans and company will beat. They're going to have to beat the sensational rookie Jaden Daniels. I think he deserves that, man. I mean, he has had a sensational year. But I think it comes down to late game heroics to win the game, and it possibly could go overtime. So it's going to be
okay,
super close, man. So it could go either way, but I'll go with Baker Mayfield. I think this is his time, man. I'm so happy for him. And he did. He had like 41 or 42 touchdown passes that he finally came through. But the Commanders will be the team in the NFC East for the next couple few years that could be the beast of the NFC East. I mean, they scare me, and I like what they're doing. And now ownership sees, oh my God, we got this guy, Jaden. I mean, Jaden Daniels. Let's build around that. Eagles need to win it this year because your Commanders scare me the next couple few years. So
yeah,
feel
but
good about that.
I agree. The only thing I'm worried about, and then we want to thank our sponsors here before we get into college football predictions, is
Yeah.
that if Cliff Kingsbury leaves, that's going to hurt. And with a young quarterback, some of these players have experiences. They have different coordinators every year, and I think even C.J. Stroud. I mean, sometimes there's sophomore slump. I think Jane Downs is a different animal, just a beast, and just has that clutch gene that you can't teach, and he just has all the skills, obviously. But the good news about Cliff Kingsbury, did you know this? Arizona is still paying him his head coaching salary and
Good.
will do so into the next season. So like he's still making that $5 to $6 million next year plus his OC salary. So
Yeah.
I think he will be tempted to go somewhere, but I think he's in a good situation right now where he can make a boatload of money and kind of be with this team on the rise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe do a
No, I
Ben
like it.
Johnson and maybe stay one more year.
That would be interesting. No, I'd like to see him stay one more year with Jaden. And I think again, we spoke about it quite a few episodes ago. Sometimes you're just an offensive coordinator, and he's a really good offensive coordinator.
Very good.
Not everybody's a head coach, man.
Correct.
There's only 32 out there. I mean, think about that. There are only 32 jobs in all of the world. So when you get that job, you better do right, or else you turn out to be. Speaking of head coaching jobs, real quick before we get into our sponsors, how about the Jets looking at Rex Ryan
That's exciting.
as a possibility?
I
Yes.
think just for a since like podcasting and media people, persons, I think that would be a lot of fun. He's
It
a heck of
was.
a coach too.
Oh, he's a great coach. He did a nice job. And the key to him, I mean, he's already, you know how he is. He's very cocky, and he's very boisterous, and I really like the way he presents himself. He said, he goes, I won't be treating Aaron Rodgers in his country club little act, that has been going on for 2 years. It won't be a country club for Aaron Rodgers if I am head coach at the Jets. And he said, and it's looking like I'm going to be the head coach of the Jets. I mean, he's saying that,
I
man.
love it.
Yes.
I love it. I mean,
But good stuff.
yeah, I hope that happens. He can bring a good OC in because he's a defensive minded coach. But yeah, he's a huge personality. I think it'd be fun to watch. And the
Yeah.
Jets can't be worse. I mean, they can't be much worse.
And he's the best. He's the best on Get Up. He's the only one that I like on Get Up, to be honest with
Agreed.
you, because he's pretty honest with everything. So
He's very good. He's their not to the level, but he's like their Charles Barkley. I love it. All right. So let's thank our sponsors. We have Surf Hippie Fishing. They've been with us since the very beginning, and they're with us through this year as well. Surfhippiefishing.com for all your fishing needs, apparel, tournaments, fishing rods, fishing carts, everything you can imagine. They do a really, really great job, and the owner's a great guy. Surfhippiefishing.com. Also, Elite Performance Chiropractic, 2 locations in the Triad of North Carolina, Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Jeremy Phillips does it all, and they have the latest and greatest when it comes to technology and techniques to get you back on your feet and to get you in the best possible condition. As a former NFL player, he has insight into that, and of course, as a doctor now. Who you got, Johnny? You got all these friends.
yeah, oh yeah, got Imperial Marketing Solutions, sale of equipment, sales of new reconditioned computer IT hardware, reconditioned, which is equal to brand new with Jimmy Snow out there, with a 3-year warranty on laptops and desktops. Out of state drop shipping he does through UPS, and payment terms available. Call Jimmy Snow 315-345-8349. And we got Physical Therapy and Balance Centers. And again, that's with an F, F-Y-Z-I-C-A-L. It specializes in innovative treatments of balance and orthopedic conditions. Our friend David Grantham out there has personalized physical therapy, fall prevention programs, and pain management. And he's offering a free 15-minute balance screening right now to anyone out there. Mention our show if you would, please. And you can call him at 336-500-8503. And they are located on Battleground Avenue. We also have an insurance company, Shank and Torrance Insurance, located in Greensboro, but they serve the entire Triad and state. Brian Torrance specializes in personal insurance, including auto, homeowners, and life insurance. Call my friend Brian at 336-310-1320 for all your insurance needs. And then your favorite place, Salsaritas. We'll have to meet there for lunch.
Yeah, let's do it. I love that place.
Salsaritas, it's located in High Point at the Palladium, which is a great little area over there, man. And in Greensboro at the Target Shopping Center on New Garden. He's got food trucks, and make sure you call him for all your catering needs. Salsaritas. And then same guy who owns Estate Jewelry and Loan, my friend Brian Demore. Great guy, actually. You got to meet this. He's a character, man. People are talking about gold because it's at an all-time high. If you need to sell jewelry, diamonds, watches, or coins, Brian will give you trusted advice and personalized service, helping you maximize your payout. He's on Battleground Ave, 2511 Battleground Ave, and you can find his website at estatejewelryloan.com. And I think that is it, my friend.
Yeah. Johnny's our account manager. He's done a great job, with the new podcast. Anyway, and we love our sponsors. They've been really, really awesome. All right, let's do college football playoffs. I need to switch the view on this thing, Johnny. You've been leading the show. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it going. Let me see if I can move you over to the lead. There we go.
Oh, there we go. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're leading. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't think I could get any better looking, but I'm better on that.
Yeah, lead us through. You've been leading the show. I love it. You're guiding us through all the different playoff matchups, the college football playoffs. First year for a 12-team format. No home team that had, or no team that had a bye, moved on, and so it's a very interesting mix. Although it's all pretty much big name schools. So yeah, let's see what we got.
And it's down to four, man. The final four. I love it. First game is what, Thursday evening. I think it's
Yep,
the Penn
yep.
State Notre Dame game. All right. I've been rooting for Penn State all year long. Notre Dame, I've been watching the last few games, and boy, do they look like they want to win a championship. They really do. Very tough game right here. Um, I'm leaning toward I think James Franklin, Coach Franklin, finally wins the big one. You know, he's the guy that they've been all over for years, and he has lost a lot of big games and hasn't won too many. But I think Penn State sneaks by Notre Dame. Drew Aller, the quarterback for Penn State, coached by the quarterback coach Danny O'Brien, which I've mentioned every week. But I mean,
Get him on the show. Aren't you friends with him?
we got to get him on the show. I mean, he's a little busy right now, but maybe after the fact we could get him on. That would be
All right. How
fantastic.
about if they win?
Oh,
If they win, let's get him on because I think if they lose, he's not going to want to come on for a couple weeks. But
absolutely. I'll
love
try.
to
I'll
have him
try
on.
very hard on that. He'd be a great interview on that. You got Drew Aller, quarterback, and he's doing okay for Penn State. I mean, I don't think he lights it up, but he does just enough. But they got this guy, this tight end. His name is Tyler Warren, number 44. You got to watch the game. He's the tight end, and he has 100 receptions as a tight end, 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. Plus, they give him the ball in the backfield. He does all kinds of neat stuff. I don't know who he reminds me of. Not really like a Gronk because he's a little shorter, but he's just like a bulldog. But he's still probably 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". But he does a heck of a job. He's going to be tough to stop. Notre Dame's got Riley Leonard from Duke. He transferred over to Notre Dame, doing a pretty good job. Not putting up big numbers, but orchestrating some, whatever he has to do to win those games. And I don't know if you saw the story on him last year, real quick little tidbit, but his mom, since he started playing in high school, every game, I mean, he played Pop Warner and all that, but played one game in high school, and I guess his mom and him were talking, and she knew how to get him going and said, you know what, son, you suck. You suck
Ah,
at football. And he's going, what do you mean? He goes, you suck. So every game since then, I mean, which is hundreds of football games, high school, college, the whole 9 yards, she calls him and says, son, you suck. And
yeah.
it brings him big. If he misses that call, I mean, he probably wouldn't even play. He said, he goes, that's their little thing that goes, and she hasn't missed the game, of course. I mean, she doesn't mean it, but she's trying to just saying, knocking him down a little bit so he gets all pumped up. But that's her favorite words to him. You suck. So
I love that. That's a great story. And I guess it started maybe the first time she said it because she thought he wasn't playing well. Was that part of the
it
story?
might have. I can't
Yeah,
remember the exact, but I think so.
yeah.
He said, "Mom, you need to tell me that more. I'm not always good or something." And then they
I
continued.
love that. I love that.
But
Um,
he's doing a good job, and they got a good running game. But the line is Notre Dame favored by 2.5, and the over under is only 44, so it's gonna looks like a low scoring game. I'm taking Penn State. I'm going to take Penn State, maybe by a field goal, maybe a touchdown, but it's going to be a close game. But Penn State's going to finally win the big one for James Franklin.
yeah. I like Notre Dame's defense better than Penn State's, and I like Notre Dame's quarterback better than Penn State's, and I like Notre Dame's running game better than Penn State. So I'm picking Notre Dame to beat Penn State in a close one.
Yeah.
I have no dog in the fight. I'm not a fan of either thing. If anything, I've been annoyed by Notre Dame my entire life because they've been on TV with that NBC contract for years and years and years, and they don't want anything in 40 plus years, and they're always on NBC. I mean, it's good for them. They got all the money for that, for many years, but Notre Dame this, Notre Dame that. I'm like, they're not. I mean, they're a huge brand. I give them that, but they were. What's the last time they played for a national championship with Manti Te'o 10 years ago? And
Yeah, and
before
they
that,
got
what was it? 30
yep,
years before that.
yeah,
Anyway, so I don't. If anything, I'm annoyed by Notre Dame, but I got them winning in a close one though. I think it'll be a
yeah.
little bit higher scoring than we think, but I think in a close one.
Good deal. All right, you got ND, I got Penn State. The other game, Texas and Ohio State. Um, you want to go first on this one?
I
Go
will
ahead.
go first on this one. And I don't like when everyone's agreeing in the national media about anything, whether it's politics or pop culture or controversial things or sports. But I think this is a no-brainer. Ohio State's going to win. I think they're going to win big. Um, they take it to another gear. That Michigan game, that is what you call a good loss. It looked like a horrible loss at the time. It looked like this team they couldn't score more than 10 points
Yeah,
against a down Michigan team. Although Michigan did go into the bowl game and beat Alabama, although lots of players aren't playing. I hate all that. But anyway, so I think Ohio State wins by double digits. I don't think it's close. I think their confidence is through the roof. And conversely, Texas, although it had a great season, their confidence has to be wavering with how difficult they've made these games. And basically, there there was a non or a targeting call that was a non call against uh, when Arizona State played Texas. If they called that, Arizona State is playing in this game.
I know.
And
Yep,
so Arizona State kind of gave that game away. Plus, it was 4th and 13 in overtime, and Arizona State's up by 7, and they did an all-out blitz, leaving Texas' best wide receiver, one of the best receivers in the
wide
country,
open.
one on one, and they get the touchdown. So some boneheaded mistakes by a very good and underrated Arizona State team. Um, so they've had a lot of luck on their side. Texas is a good team. They're a good program. I like the fact that they're fun to watch on offense and kind of back on the national scene, probably for the first time, more so consistently since Mac Brown left years ago. But I think Ohio State wins, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah. I gotta agree with you on this. Ohio State looks like the best team in the nation right now, and they're. I think you're right. I mean, I can't agree with you more. That Michigan loss was huge, man. I mean, that in the dictionary it should say for Ohio State, Michigan loss, great loss, or whatever. I mean, it helped them immensely. Their quarterback Will Howard has been on fire, but keep an eye on their freshman wide receiver, this Jeremiah Smith. He's a true freshman, and he is just lighting it up. He's making the game look easy, and
Yes.
you know who I'm talking about.
Oh
He,
yeah.
oh my gosh, this kid is fantastic.
I think before the Oregon game, and people forget Oregon was the best team all season long. Already beat Ohio State,
Yep.
and he said before the game, "You're going to do one-on-one coverage. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to smoke
Yeah.
you. I'm going to light you up." And I think in the first quarter, he had almost 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I
Yeah.
mean, this kid's special.
Lit it up, man. 14 touchdowns this year. But I mean, he has looked great in the playoffs. Texas is. I think Sarkisian has done a great job. Quinn Ewers, I'm not real impressed with him. The only way Texas wins this game, and I mean it's far fetched because Ohio State is so powerful right now, is if Arch Manning comes in like if Ewers goes down with an ankle sprain or something in the first quarter, and Manning comes in and just ignites that team.
Right.
If that doesn't happen, Texas don't have a chance. All
Yeah.
Ohio State. Go Buckeyes. Buckeyes. So I got the Buckeyes in Penn State. You got the Buckeyes in Notre Dame. Wow, that's
Yeah.
a couple of good championships right there. So
And if I had to pick now, I'll probably do it next week. If I had to pick now, I think Ohio State's going to win the whole thing.
I think so. I think so. If they, if the quarterbacks, it all depends on health, who gets injured or whatever. But yeah, they're
Right.
powerful. They look really good.
All right. Well, excuse me. Well, another episode in the books, episode 20.
Love it.
Episode 20. Love it. And your task as our executive producer now is to get your Penn State connection on next week.
Oh man, I will love. I will try. How about his dad? His dad would be a better interview, man. He is a character, man.
Fine. Get him
He
on.
He's been
Yeah,
going to all the games too. I talked to him this morning.
characters wanted for sure. People with personalities
Absolutely.
wanted, definitely.
Great.
All right, Johnny. Appreciate you. Great job as always. And if you want to be a part of the podcast, just as a guest, you can do that. You can message us anywhere on social media. Also, if you want to advertise, you can again message us on social media anywhere. We're on every streaming platform and all the different social media platforms. And or you can email Johnny at sportscarolina@gmail.com. We have extensive reach. Just TikTok alone, 400,000 or 500,000 views in a short period of time. And we could tag you on some of those things as well. All right. Until next time.
Later.